Hey guys, hey girls, hey ladies. Happy International Women's Day to you boss ass babes, losing weight, getting healthier, getting fitter, having more energy. I am so freaking proud of you all, especially all my clients. These last few weeks, you guys have been working damn hard. I've had so many medical emergencies, medical situations that have come up in the last couple of weeks with my clients, just kind of sporadically and out of the blue. It's kind of like feast or famine, right? Either everyone's doing really well or everyone's got really bad like issues or illnesses going on. So bless them. The girls are showing up. They are showing up like I've never known before. They are doing incredible. And you are doing incredible if you're watching this too. If you're watching this on replay, happy International Women's Day, because it is International Women's Day. Any day that you're on the planet. Oh, so cheesy. Right. Today, I want to discuss with you the shit show that is the scales. Yes, I said it, the shit show. FYI, I kind of screwed myself over here because I wrote a bunch of notes, but I've been so busy that I didn't like categorize them and I didn't make sense of them. So I'm probably going to read out my point and then expand on it. But I've got all of my notes here. Oh my God, like International Women's Day, talking about International Women's Day. What is this new postcode on my face? Thanks, God, universe, appreciate you. So the reason why I wanted to cover this on International Women's Day is because for so many women, the scales mean something. Whether they're up, whether they're down, it means something. And I'm going to go into a little bit about this in a moment, but I just kind of want to explain where my mind's at and where I'm at with the conversations that I'm having. So recently, and especially for the people that I have messaged personally and reached out and said, hey guys, I'm doing a live. I wondered if you would like to join in. If you're one of those people, yay. If you're not, sorry, where are you? So occasionally I'll have conversations with people and I'll remember that something's cropped up or something could be of use for you. And so when I was reaching out to people and saying, hey, like, is this something that you'd be interested in? Did you want to come and join live? So many people got back to me and said, oh God, yeah, I weigh myself twice. I weigh myself 3 times a day. I weigh myself religiously every day. And the amount of people that are wanting weight loss, that determine their success by the scales, by only what the scales say, is scary. Because not only are you determining your success by the scales, you're also determining your emotional output, your emotional state, and you are making the scales mean something that it's not. This is disempowering. This puts all of the power in an inanimate object, and it takes all of your power away. And on International Women's Day, I want to show you that you have the power. You have that motivation, that willpower, that strength inside you. You can't let an inanimate object take that away from you, and I don't want you to. So this is so perfect for International Women's Day, because not only is it the people that I've reached out to recently in the last few days asking if this is something that you'd want to listen to, the messages that I have received since I've been doing this, since I have specifically started talking to women, this has come up time and time and time again. Okay, I had a call with someone recently who I had a call with her, and I'm not going to name you because I want to keep anonymity, but she weighed herself about 10 times a day. And this broke my heart. If you're watching, you know who you are. Sending you all the love. She weighs herself about 10 times a day. She has messaged me recently saying that she now weighs herself every other day, which is such a huge freaking progress. Like, for those of you who don't weigh yourself regularly, or don't let it mean anything, this probably won't resonate. This video probably won't be for you. But this wonderful human being, this wonderful lady, she puts herself in a position of hatred and disempowerment every single time she stands on the scales. And that is 10 times a day. Imagine telling someone, telling your partner, telling your kids, telling your mother, telling your sister, 10 times a day that because something says something means that you are bad, means that you're good, means that you deserve a treat. I'm sorry, you're not fucking dogs. You're women, you're beautiful women, you're strong, and you're independent, regardless of whether you think it or not. But getting on the scale and it meaning something is disempowering. And on Women's Day, I want you to feel empowered. Okay? You can feel my energy coming through, because I am so pissed off with so many women humiliating themselves, talking down at themselves, punishing themselves over something that really doesn't need to be done, because you are so much stronger than this, so much stronger, and you don't need me to come along and tell you this. So I don't want you to let the reading on the scale affect your emotions and subsequent actions. Okay, I want you to gain authority over the scales, not let the scales whip your ass every single day into submission. Now I want to ask this to you. How do you let the reading on the scale affect your emotions and the rest of the day? Write this down, please. If you brought a pen and paper, that is perfect, because I'm probably going to ask you some questions. And these are really, really good journaling points as well. So if you don't want to write down while I'm talking, that's probably going to be a good idea, but write down what I'm saying. If you're watching this on replay, if you're watching live, by the way, say hi, so I know you're there, please. And I'd like to ask you some questions as well. I'd be happy to do a little bit of online coaching as well. If you're watching replay, type in replay, and every time I ask a question, write the question down, and then take some really good time out tonight to journal about it. The more you journal, the more you think out loud, the more you rationalize. So really important to journal. So how do you affect the scale, the number on the scale, affect your emotions and subsequent actions? And I'm talking both ways, all three ways. So let's say the scales go up. Have you ever said, oh, I'm getting me a drink tonight, or, oh, I'm going to have dessert tonight because the scales have gone down? I mean, hang on a goddamn minute. If you were to treat yourself with food or alcohol every single time you did well, do you think you'll be getting these results? So then what happens next week when the scales go up because of subsequent actions that happened after you weighed in last week and you treated yourself? Again, stop treating yourself. You can treat yourself with anything that is not food and alcohol related. You are not a dog. You do not deserve treats for being a good girl. You deserve recognition. You deserve acknowledgement. You deserve fun and pleasure and relaxation and nourishment. But it doesn't need to be connected and associated with food. So this works both ways, guys. If you're losing weight, I'm still asking you the same question. How do you let the scales affect your emotions and subsequent actions? So if the scales have gone down, what do you think? Write it down. What are you thinking if the scales go down? Yes, you've done well. Yes, I deserve a treat. Oh, this is incredible. This is amazing. Think about that, because I'm going to come back to that in a second. If the scales have gone down, up, sorry, if the scales are going down that way and the scales have gone up, I clearly don't know up from downs. If the scales have gone up, how do you let this affect your emotions and subsequent actions? Are you drained? Are you exhausted? Is suddenly when you jump on the scale, say before you jump on the scale, you're like, oh, I've had a fucking incredible week. I have done really well. I've avoided junk food. You step on the scale, you think you've had a good week, and it's not the number you expected. Maybe it's higher or it's the same. And you go, oh, I've had a really shit week. Suddenly, that scale has a huge impact on your week. But before you stepped on that scale, you've had a good week. And now suddenly it's a bad week. Think how that sets in your mind for future journeys, for future weigh-ins, and for future dieting or healthy eating journeys. Doesn't really set in very well, does it? So imagine if the scales have gone up and you've put on weight, you've gained some weight. I'll explain why there's a possibility of gaining weight later on. How do you let that affect you? What emotions are running through your body? Stress, anxiety, frustration, depression, sadness, anger. Why the hell isn't the scale saying what I want it to do? What happens then? What happens in your actions for the rest of the day? Do you go, oh, screw it, do you know what? The scales have gone up, so it doesn't matter. I'm gonna have a drink. Or the scales have gone up, so I'm gonna have, I'm gonna treat myself anyway. Or the scales have gone up, oh, I'm gonna starve myself. Either way, you are reacting to the number on the scale, which is an inanimate object, and you are letting that inanimate object determine your future results, your future emotions, your future emotional state, and your current state. Think about how you vibrate, how the frequency, the energy that we have when we're feeling positive and motivated. We do things that are in alignment with our goals. We do great things. We do joyous things. We spread the love. We spread the joy and the pleasure and the excitement of life. As soon as that scale is not how you want it to be, it is affecting your emotions. It's a number. Everything after that is utterly you. The scale didn't make you do it. You made yourself do it. You made an emotion or an action out of a number. Know that you've got to know this and take responsibility for it, because next time you can do something about it. Because if you watch this whole video, you'll understand how to stop this cycle, to stop letting the scales be, to stop you being the scales bitch and let the scales be your bitch, right? So if you jump on the scales and you go, oh, I feel really disappointed, stop. I feel is a sentence, not a set of instructions to derail your progress, okay? As soon as you step on that scale and the emotions flood into your head, oh, I feel annoyed, anxious, frustrated, whatever it is, that's okay. I want you to accept that, because in all honesty, we're always going to feel an emotion from that, okay? I'm trying to tell you to not let it create an emotion, but it's gonna elicit some sort of emotion, right? It's how you deal with that emotion. It's whether you address it or not. That is the important thing here, right? So I feel, from standing on the scale, saying I feel in your head or out loud is a sentence. It's not a set of instructions to derail. So as soon as you think that, you don't start setting yourself up for failure because you feel something. So this is then related to emotional eating, right? And I've done a video. If you want the link to that, just drop emotional eating in the comments box below, and I'll send you a link to that. But as soon as you start saying I feel, and then you determine what you're going to do with the rest of your day. So whether you're going to treat yourself or whether you're going to screw it all. You know those? You're like, oh, I've been doing so well, but the scales didn't budge. Oh, fuck it. I'm just going to have this. I'm just going to have that. It's not going to make much difference, is it? Imagine every time you counted up I don't like talking calories, but sometimes it's a good reference. Imagine every time you said, oh, screw it, this isn't going to help. Imagine counting up those calories and then realizing how much you've consumed. I don't like talking about calories, that's all I'm going to say. But imagine adding that up. It doesn't create progress. It creates regression, right? So as soon as that emotion comes up, feel it, embody it. Know that it is an emotion. That is what you need to do with emotions, is understand that it's there. Acknowledge that it's there. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. Say it out loud. What is it? Sometimes saying it out loud even just makes you laugh. It makes you giggle. You're like, I'm feeling angry. And you're like, I sound so stupid right now. But it's a funny thing to do sometimes, okay? Sometimes it creates more anger, but that's okay, because you can acknowledge that it's anger. You can acknowledge its frustration. As soon as you acknowledge it, it takes off the pressure to hold it throughout your day. So it doesn't then become the instructions to derail. Like I said, just because you feel this way doesn't then mean that overeating, undereating, restrictive eating, binge eating needs to ensue. Just a side note, the scales aren't meant to go down every single week. Okay? You're on a weight loss journey. I don't know about you, or maybe you live in a flat area. I was going to say, no matter what journey I go on, there's always a bit of a hill. There's always a bit of a decline. There's always a flat, right? And if you go on a walk that's extremely flat and not even a curb to stand up on, or a sidewalk for the Americans here, then that's probably really boring. But there's probably at least a little bit of dip and a little bit of up and down, right? That's a journey. A journey isn't just like that, or like that, depending on what kind of scale you're looking at, right? You want to lose weight, or you want to increase your energy, whatever way you want to look at it. It's not a straight line. That's what I'm getting at there. It's a hairball, it's a cobweb, it's a mess of a journey, but it's part of the journey, right? The scales aren't meant to go down every week because your body is a human body. Especially for us women, we go through so much in our body that determines our weight. Just to let you know, the scales is a measurement of your gravitational pull. It is a measurement of your gravitational pull. It is not a measurement of how well you have done. Kind of covered this at the start of the video. It is not a measurement of how well you've done, what you've done. Those numbers don't jump out of the scale. The scale doesn't jump up and say, you have been a very bad girl. You have not done this. You have not done that. It doesn't jump up and say that. The numbers don't come out and tell you that you've been good or been bad. Again, it goes back to what you apply to that number, what you apply to that scale, what you let it mean. Your gravitational pull is your gravitational pull. Perhaps you've drunk half a litre more water this week. I mean, that's easily done over a week. From last week to this week, you're in a completely different phase of your menstrual cycle. From last week to this week, you might have eaten a few less calories or a few more calories, but overall, you're well balanced. There are so many reasons and influences why the scales go up and down. It is not meant to go down every week, okay? So long as you are sticking to your healthy habits and you are being consistent with them, then you have nothing to worry about. It will drop eventually. Okay. The problem is we've got this strong desire for immediate results, right? We give in too fast. I even noticed this with myself today with something slightly different. It is that it's completely gone out of my mind. Immediate satisfaction, right? We all require that immediate satisfaction because in the world that we live in, the technology that we have nowadays, we want everything straight away. You know, if you're in a conversation in a social environment and someone says something and you don't know the answer to it, or you don't know where you found it from, you go and Google it, right? Instant, immediate. The problem is we are applying this to the scales and to our weight loss, but this isn't a wonder shake. It's not a wonder pill. They do not freaking exist. This is a long journey that you're on. And it's okay that it's a long journey, but you've got to make it intentional, right? Scales aren't meant to go down every single week, and the desire for results is getting normalized, kind of like normalized impatience, right? And we're losing the patience. We just want that number to go down every single week. We want it now, want it now. Oh, I've been overweight for 10 years. I want it now. What if you've been overweight for 10 years? Because your body is a human body. Unfortunately, you're not a robot. I wish you were. But unfortunately, you're not a robot. So you've got to wait for chemistry to happen. You've got to wait for biology to take its place. You've got to wait for processes to happen, to kick in. You've got to wait to stop. Like, for example, our body's preferred source of energy is carbohydrates. If you have eaten a higher fat meal, if you've eaten a higher fat meal and a low carbohydrate, and you're running low on carbohydrates, your body is then going to burn the fat first, but it is not your body or your brain's preferred source of energy. I can't remember where I was going with this, for God's sake. But what I'm trying to say is that results take a while, okay? So that's where I was going with that. Your body is going through certain processes every single day, slightly different processes. So for example, one day it might be burning fat, next day it might be burning carbohydrates. But either way, they're different processes and they're going to take a little bit longer to go ahead and continue to break down fats, to break down and to utilize the energy that you're fueling your body with. And these things take time, right? They're not an instant fix. It's not like resetting a laptop. You're not a goddamn laptop. You can't just reset yourself. Sometimes I wish we could, but you can't. Give yourself time, ease, grace. Give yourself that. It's okay. Is this making sense? Am I speaking absolute babble? Please pop in the comments if I'm speaking babble, because I don't know if I am. I will look in the comment section because I get really distracted. So I'm going to look in the comment section once I'm finished. I'm going to write it down on my notes. Look in comments. Look in comments. Otherwise, I'm going to forget. That's me. Right. Next. Yeah, so the number is a trigger for examination, not reasoning. Okay, I've discussed this point. Yeah, you guys are like probably thinking, okay, can you shut up now? We've already discussed this. It is, yeah, the number is a trigger for examination, not a reason. It is a product of actions, right? If you have consistently worked at good, healthy habits and you have put on weight or you have plateaued, you need to start looking at the healthy habits that you have. Look at what's going well. Look at what can be dialed in. Okay, if you're plateauing, it could just mean that the level that your habits are at. So, for example, a complete novice, couch potato, not worked out, severely obese, and an athlete, right? Healthy habits for this person are going to be on this level. Healthy habits for this person are going to be up here. Yeah. So dial into your healthy habits, dial them up, and work out how you can make them better. They're already good, but how can we make them better? So looking at that number then creates a bit of a structure for the next week. If you have lost weight, go, awesome. What worked well? What can I dial in on to keep making sure that I'm going to lose weight and not plateau, right? So look at it that way. Look at it as a set of statistics. I have to do that in my business all the time. It really sucks, but I have to count the number of people coming in, the amount of conversations I have. I have to keep track of all of this, but I have to remove the emotional element from it. I want to help everyone that I come in contact with, right? That's my problem. I want to help everyone that I come in contact with. And especially some certain people, we'll get a connection, we'll start talking, maybe even we'll have a call, and I really, really want to help them. But if things get in the way, maybe we don't message back for a while, I get disheartened, but I need to start taking the emotion out of that. Okay. It's not me. It's not my fault. And that person will come when that person is ready. Removing the emotion and looking at the statistics then shows me that I'm helping more people and I'm not failing. I'm still helping more people because the number shows that. Looking at the scales overall, what is it doing? Is it going down? In which case, great. Let's see what we're doing, what's working well, how can we keep improving? If it's going up, okay, great. It's going up. What can we dial in on? So it's a product of actions, right? If you're not doing something so well or so consistently, then it's a product of those actions. Don't come to me and say, oh, the scales have gone down. And I say, okay, have you ticked every single healthy habit that we have discussed off every single day? Well, no, I kind of did this, kind of did that. Okay, well, there you go. What do you expect? So sometimes if the scales are going down, keep doing what you're doing. Notice what could slow the weight down for you even more. And notice what could be a problem for you in the future. Okay, so if the scales are going down, that's great. That's where we want it to go, depending. Keep doing what you're doing, right? But how can we dial it in? Also realize, what are you doing now that could potentially be a problem in the future? It could potentially create a plateau in the future. So you start dialing in as best and as quickly as you can. Okay, so even when you weigh yourself and you're going down, it's still a great place to analyze what's going on in your journey, in your weight loss, and really dial in on those habits to keep that progress going, right? We don't want to hit the weight increase to dial in on those habits, because then it's a bit too late. And then we've taken 2 steps back in terms of timeline, right? And we all want to get there straight away. It's what I was saying. Know that mistakes are part of the solution and that you will screw up, okay? I gave my client the task the other week, to fail as many times as she possibly could. Because if she could fail, then it means she's trying. Know that mistakes are the solution and try to keep making them. This doesn't mean, oh, I'm trying to make a mistake, so I'm going to go out and have a takeaway every single night because I'm trying to fail. This means try, just try and see how many times you fail. Because I am telling you now, it is not smoking fine dandy-dory the whole bloody way. I can tell you that for now, right? I'm a health coach. I'm happy with my weight. I'm happy with my body. There's still things that I would like to change about it, which I'm getting at. And sometimes even still, I screw up. Sometimes when I'm working, I'll go and grab a banana and peanut butter, and before you know it, it's completely gone. And I'm like, oh, I fucked up. You will still mess up, even when you are the perfect, which doesn't exist. Even when you are exactly where you want to be, you will still mess up, and it's okay. It's part of the process. Messing up means that we get to analyze the data, removing the emotion, and progress, knowing what we know. Yeah, mistakes, utilize them. Know you'll mess up. Don't let it mean anything. Don't let it mean that you're shit. Don't let it mean that you've got no willpower. Just let it mean that you get to learn from it. It's all you need to do with mistakes. If the number doesn't give you the good feeling, the thought, hang on a second, I just need to read my notes. Okay, yeah. So on the opposite side, like I said about when you're losing weight, the number doesn't give you that good feeling. That number doesn't give you that joy, that excitement, that hell yeah, I've done well. The number doesn't say that to you. What does? Your reaction, the emotions you let yourself feel. Okay? Same works with the other way around. It's self-inflicted pain, guys, gals. You need to expect ahead of time that your brain is going to throw you on an emotional roller coaster, whether it's high, low. Your emotions are going to be down or up, whatever it is. Know ahead of time that your brain is going to try and send you on an emotional roller coaster, and let that number mean something to you. Define myself by my actions, not the numbers. I define myself by my actions, not the numbers. Really good mantra to follow ahead of time, something that you can ingrain in your mind right before you jump on the scales. Okay, another one, either you're eating for the body you want, the body you have, or the body you can't let go of. I'm going to highlight that and make that into a post, because god damn, Bianca, that's good. Either you're eating the body that you want, the body you have, or the body you can't let go of. Yeah, so either you are eating in the healthiest possible way, so you're eating for the body you want, or you're eating for the body you already have. You're maintaining, right? You're not increasing, you're not dialing in on those healthy habits. You're not tuning into your hunger. You're not tuning into your body's cues, right? You're going to be eating for the body that you have, so you're not making any progress. Or you're eating for the body you can't let go of. That's when you're gaining weight, right? And I don't mean, again, on like the day-by-day fluctuations. I mean overall, that's when you're gaining weight. You're eating for the body you can't let go of. Boom. So kind of going on to a little bit of why we might gain weight when we're trying our hardest, or plateau. Okay, plateauing is pretty obvious, right? You're not working harder than you need to be. You're pretty much just going on neutral, right? Your body has, say you've lost some weight, fantastic, lost a little bit of weight, and now you just can't budge the scales. They're not bloody going no matter how much you try. You're not actually dialing in on those. So for example, if you're plateauing, excuse me, I still got a bit of a cold. If you're plateauing, that means you really need to increase the frequency, the energy that you're putting into things, the difficulty of these things, because you're just getting by with what you're already doing. You need to increase that difficulty, make it harder. Okay, these things that help weight loss, eating healthy, exercising, getting out for walks, lowering your stress, they work in stages, right? And that stages, it reflects where you are. For the next stage to lose weight, you need to increase those habits, right? Increase the frequency of them, increase the difficulty. You have to keep building on top of what you've already got. My nutrient macro requirements would be much probably smaller or bigger than that of someone who might be obese, right? They will eventually get to the similar levels that I'm at, but their habits, their nutrients, whatever else they need is of a very different level. So you need to keep increasing as you go. And when you get to my stage, it's not bloody easy still. You still got to work hard. It's not like all the weight drops off and then you're like, oh, sweet, I can do whatever the fuck I want, right? That's why we need to get under the emotional side of it so that you can deal with that shit when it comes up, no matter how much you weigh. So on another note, stress holds on to water. You'll be eating healthy. You can be exercising. You can be increasing your NEAT. You can be sleeping. But if you're stressed, your body will naturally hold on to water. So you could be doing the healthiest possible. You could have the healthiest, most active week. But if you're physiologically or psychologically stressed, so in other words, if your body is running on overtime or your mind is running on overtime, your stomach and your body is just like, hey, water, keep me warm. I'm stressed. And so then the scales haven't gone down, right? We know that if we drink more water day by day, that's going to increase the scales. Muscle weighs more than fat, okay? So if you're exercising really hard and the scales haven't gone down, look at yourself. There are so many more ways to take measurements than actually jumping on the goddamn scales, right? Stress holds on to water. For some people, while your body is preparing to drop the weight that you want, you'll stay the same for weeks on end, right? You'll stay the weeks on end. So your body is preparing to drop, and it's still going, it's going to get there, but then you jump on the scales right then and then. Again, it's up to you to decide how to react and how to feel. If you react positively, you don't let it mean anything, you stay consistent, and then that body goes, there's all the weight, and it drops off, right? I've seen it happen. It literally happens. I've also seen the opposite. Your body's going, I'm about to drop the weight, I'm just kind of finishing some physics, chemistry. I'm just doing this. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute. People get on the scales. They see that their weight hasn't dropped, and then they go and sabotage because they don't realize that their body was about to lose that weight. I see it so many times, and so many times. Sorry, I'm getting really worked up, and I see it so many times with breaking down before breakthroughs as well. Mentally, it happens all the time. We give up too easily. Staying consistent is too hard, too much work. But girl, you've got to do it if you want to drop the weight. Just know it's not going to take itself off for you. Okay, so tips on how to weigh. Step 1. Tips on making the scales your bitch, not the other way around, yeah? Step 1, remember all of the things that you usually tell yourself before you've even gotten the scales out, before you've even gone to the bathroom. Remember all of the things that you usually tell yourself, whether it's up, down, or plateau. Know that nothing right now will change what the number says. So I want you to write down before you go on the scales what you usually say to yourself. If it's up, what you usually say to yourself. If it's down, what you usually say to yourself if it plateaus. Now I want you to decide what you're going to think. If it is up, this is what I'm going to do to bring it back down. If it is down, this is what I'm going to do to keep it down. If it has plateaued, this is what I'm going to dial in on to bring it down. You decide what you're going to think. You remove the emotion. Step 3. So step 1 is remember all the things that you usually tell yourself, write them down, acknowledge those feelings. Step 2 is decide what you're going to think. So strategize. Step 3 is weigh yourself and listen to make sure there aren't any new thoughts coming up, because they freaking sneak in there sometimes, right? They sneak in there. Are there any new thoughts coming up? If there is, journal them, flip them. Okay, this is my new thought. How can I turn this around so it's not the same way of thinking? So it's a more productive and positive way of thinking. Step 4 is to then journal everything that comes up. Again, I've mentioned this word about 17 times already today. Hashtag journal. Journal everything that comes up and create new thoughts based upon the number. Okay. Create new thoughts based upon the number. So make it positive, make it productive. I don't recommend weighing once a day. If medically you need to lose weight, in fact, I don't recommend weighing once a freaking week. If you need to lose weight medically and you really need to lose weight, weigh in once a day, but take the average, right? We've talked about the fluctuations every day. It can go up, it can go down, it can plateau. So your weight every day is going to change, and it's meant to change. Remember that. So you take your weight every day, 7 days, you take the average. Sweet. That's that week. Next week, take every day, average. Cool. Is it up or down? You let the average be a better determinator of what you're going to do the next week. So yes, you can weigh yourself, but if you're weighing yourself every day, take that average weight. Okay. After you weigh yourself and it's the same or higher, ask yourself, what are the things you didn't do? Well, yeah, Bianca, I've already gone through that. Sorry, I'm just reading my notes. Cool. Yeah, pick one thing, right? If the scales aren't reading what you want to, or even when the scales are reading a positive thing for you, ask how you're going to make it easier. How are you going to dial in? What are you going to dial? So every time you get on the scales, make it mean something productive, not emotionally destructive. There's another one banger from me today. Jesus, I feel like I'm actually on a roll today. You should see my notes, guys. These notes are an absolute shit show. Awesome. One more top tip is, if you're going to get on the scales every day, I need you to plan your day ahead, especially when it comes to food. Know exactly what you've got on plan. What's your breakfast? What's your morning snack? What's your lunch? What's your afternoon snack? I don't care what it is, but put it on the freaking plan. Because as soon as it's on the plan, is generally going to be a lot better than letting the emotions take your appetite, right? We've talked about emotional eating before. I don't need to go into it now, but that is generally what would happen. So if you do, or like weigh in once a week and you know that it can be detrimental, plan ahead. Plan. Another hashtag, plan. Amazing. I hope that makes sense. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments below. Let's have a look. Oh, it's Sheila. Of course it is. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Hallie. Hope you're doing well. Hi, should we weigh ourselves, and if, when? Look, you can weigh yourself. Yes, you can weigh yourself, but as soon as it becomes emotionally charged, or if it already is emotionally charged, then be very careful with how often and when you weigh yourself. Because again, this is the whole point in what I'm saying, right? You want to be empowered by the weight. You want to go, okay, so what do I weigh today? What do I weigh this week? How is that going to determine what I need to do next week, right? It is a measurement to create a plan. So if it makes you sad, or you struggle to step out, if you struggle to do everything that I've mentioned today, you struggle to step out of that mindset of, oh, I've put on weight, or, oh, I'm going to treat myself. If you struggle to get out of that, then I would recommend not weighing, okay? Unless you're on certain journeys. So for example, some of the new girls that are coming in, I'm getting them to weigh in at the start of the 3 months, at the end of the 3 months, and then at the end of the following 3 months. So 3 times, one at the start, one in the middle, one in the end. And that's because I don't want to create a relationship between them and the scales, but I also need to know some sort of measurements so I can help show them some tangible results, right? So as long as you remove the emotion that's charging those scales, then you can weigh as much as you want, so long as it doesn't mean anything. As soon as it means something, that is when you have a problem. And the reactions and emotional state that it leaves you in is the problem, okay? Oh, itchy nose. Always recommend weighing. I always recommend, remember when I said that we're not dogs? Sometimes I feel like I am one. Oh, what does an itchy nose mean? It's not money, is it? That's itchy palm. What's an itchy nose? Itchy ears is like someone's talking to you. What's an itchy nose mean? Maybe I put on a bit too much foundation, I don't know. You should always weigh yourself, if you're going to weigh yourself, in the same state. So, for example, you wake up, you have a wee, you jump on the scales. No deviating from that. That is it. You do not wake up the next day, not have a pee, and get on the scales. You do not wake up the next day, put clothes on, and then get on the scales. The clothes, the weeing, the pooping, the breakfast, the water, the pint of water that you drink as soon as you wake up. For the love of God, none of all of those are going to make a difference. They're going to make a variation. Variation? Wrong word. They're going to make a difference to what the scale is reading. So if you wake up, I would recommend always weighing naked, because then you don't have anything extra that's weighing you down that could change, that could be a variable. That's what I was looking for. That could be a variable. I would not recommend consuming anything at all. The reason why straight away in the morning is because it's going to give you the most true reading every single time, because you would have fasted for about 8 hours. You wouldn't have eaten anything. You've been resting. You're in the most replicable state. That would be my suggestion. You're doing a Sheila lol. What did I say? Did I just totally, was that when I went off track? Was that when I was being a spanner? Yes, not too sure what that yes is for. Maybe I should check my comments while I'm doing it. Hi, Hallie. How are you, darling? Hallie, if you joined in late, can you please rewatch this? Love you. Awesome. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, pop them in the comments below. I have talked for so long. I'm going to go and shut up now for the rest of my night. Rest my voice, which is obviously still a cold. Oh, I have some exciting news. I'm going to be doing a workshop or a challenge soon. I don't know when. Don't know what it's going to be about, but get excited. It's going to probably be a 4-day challenge. Not too sure what it's going to be about yet. I'm going to probably drop a poll in the group just to see what you guys want. If you're still here on this video right now, listening to me right now, drop in the comments below anything that you think that would help you in a challenge. I can only give you information that I need. If you're not giving me the information of what you need to learn or need to know or what you need right now, I can't give you what you want. So tell me, drop in the comments below. What would you find really, really helpful if I did a challenge on? So I'm thinking more of a weight loss based challenge as opposed to a plant-based challenge. I think we've got more weight loss ladies in here than transitioning to being plant-based. It's a bit confusing, but I do both. So yeah, drop in the comments below and let me know what you would find useful. All right, take care, much love, have a nice day, bye.